Hi guys, Dr. Mal here. We're busy with intermolecular forces, the forces between molecules. And we're going to have a look at the differences in different states of matter or density or viscosity. So there's a lot of effects that stem from this intermolecular forces. Let's have a look at this table of intermolecular forces. Do you remember that hydrogen has the strongest bond? And then you've got your iron and the iron one with the dipole first, and then the induced dipole with the non-polar. Now this is the strongest bond, the hydrogen. Then you find the two with the ions, then the dipole, and then the induced dipole. It's the strongest, it's stronger than the next one, and this is the weakest one. And it's only a temporary dipole here because it's non-polar, and we went through this in a previous lesson. So if you forgot this, go back and think, how did you remember electronegativity determining the polarity of a molecule? We're going to have a look at the three states of matter. Now this you've done since you've started with chemistry. We know the molecules of a solid will be packed very densely. They still vibrate, and we'll show you a video now where you can see they vibrate, but you can see here we've got the molecules and the distances are very near. This is the liquid. Can you see? It's also like that, and then the gas. This is a little bit further apart, and then the gas, which is lots of energy. I heated it up. So the important thing is that you know that in a solid, you've got a stronger attraction, therefore they are nearer. In the liquid, a moderate attraction, and then in a gas, a very weak attraction. And that's things that you actually did when you did the kinetic molecular model. That was work done previously when we started with the atom. That's also true that these molecules will be very close together, little bit further away, and then the furthest away. And then finally, the movement where these molecules will just vibrate, they will slide a little bit past each other, and these one will move round about freely and bump each other. So remember, you've got a solid, a liquid, and a gas. You need to know the particles, you need to know the distances, and you need between them, and you need to be able to say what's the spaces between. Now, why is this important? Because the intermolecular forces will have obviously an influence if they are nearer to each other, a little bit further away, and then very far away. Right, the states of matter can be explained much better with a video that we'll show you just now. Go on to the PHET Colorado website and see the simulations and play around with these. So guys, you go into the PHET and you have states of matter, and that's what we are going to consider now, doing the intermolecular forces. Now on the right hand side, you can choose between neon, argon, and both of them will be the noble gases. You can also choose solid, liquid, or gas. And you can see the energy in gas molecules in comparison with liquid and a solid. Now let's go to the oxygen. And can you see it's a diatom? That's the solid, this is the liquid, and this is the gas. And it's very nice in this presentation that you can actually play around. Now let's change the heat. Now let's start with the liquid, and at the bottom I'm going to increase the heat, and you'll see this little flame. And can you see the molecules are vibrating, but they're still molecules. It's the intermolecular bonds that's been broken, not the intramolecular bonds that's broken. And if we cool it down, they're going to move towards each other. So that's what's happening there. Let's change that to water. That's water in the solid phase. So that's an ice cube. And can you see they are still vibrating, But the intermolecular forces are very strong because it's a solid phase. Now let's turn it into a liquid and let's heat this liquid, and we can see it is moving further away from each other. Let's take the gas, and you can see it's all over the show. So the first thing I'd like to establish that you know that there's three phases: solid, the liquid, and the gas. We can change the temperature, but you can also try and change the pressure. Now what you can see here is that I can change the pressure, and I'm now pushing them towards each other. Can you see I'm pulling down the lid and I'm building up pressure? And at one stage it will blow its lid, and you know what happens if it blows its lid. We can return it, and you can see to what pressure can I lower the volume and make the volume smaller. This is just a very nice play tool that you can use to identify the states of matter and the intermolecular forces. That was nice to play around a little bit with the phases or the states of matter. So important, if you have a look at the work that you've done previously, if we take a solid and we melt it to a liquid, and we take a liquid and make it into a gas, we also influencing the intermolecular forces. It's not just the states that will differ. It's the energy between the molecules that you are changing by obviously pulling it apart, or energy being released when they move back again. So there's a few other characteristics that you've got to know. The intermolecular force will also, not just the state, but depend on the molecular mass. If it's a polar molecule or if it's a non-polar molecule, it's true when they move to a higher mass. Now you know in the periodic table, for instance, the halogens, you've got fluorine at the top, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. But the molecules get larger as they go down. We also know in the period it gets smaller when it goes from left to right. The larger the molecule or the mass, it's actually the mass, the stronger the intermolecular force, because there's more electrons that's playing a part in this intermolecular force. The second aspect is the molecular shape. And you know, if I recall, you saw that we do the linear shape of the carbon dioxide. This will have a negative on both sides, so it will have a very weak intermolecular force. If it's a long chain, and I've got a carbon chain like that, with another carbon chain like that, can you see I've got a long chain with intermolecular forces like glue. So I've got lots of glue in between these, and the intermolecular forces will be greater than for the spherical molecule. So it's the type of molecule and the shape of the molecule. Then let's have a look at the density. Well, the density also relies on which state it is. Can you see there? I've got a high density, and this will resemble the solid. A little less with the liquid, and then freely moving around the gas. So the stronger the intermolecular forces, the densely packed molecules will be next to each other, which means greater density, no, I don't want to say greater, I want to see greater intermolecular forces. Density, shape, state of matter. Viscosity. What is viscosity? Well, it's like syrup or honey. It's actually a resistance to flow or glue. So if you've got a greater viscosity, it means it's sticking together, and I've got a stronger intermolecular force. All of these aspects influenced by the type of intermolecular force. So you've got to know, and it's things that you can think, it's logic. If it's got a great intermolecular force, what will be the effect on state or viscosity or density? So what do we have to know? We've got to distinguish the different effects. no molecular mass, and you'll see in the next lesson, we're actually going to draw a graph where we're going to show you what the molecular mass will do, the shape of the molecule, the density, the way they are packed together, and the viscosity. And you've got to be able to compare the types of intermolecular forces. For instance, one has got a hydrogen bond and the other one is a dipole-dipole. So if we ask you a question about these two intermolecular forces, you'll be able to explain. And we'll do typical questions at the end of every section. I hope you can find a few questions in past papers. Have a look at these effects of intermolecular forces and know exactly what the implication is. Bye.